heckle Hashim.
Yeah, no heckling. Yeah, no, we don't have any
Hopefully,
heckling.
If we get any hecklers, we're going to
Yeah,
stop and then start
as,
again.
As we did last time.
Let's do that, yeah.
So, we were discussing the nature of forgiveness and how God forgives.
So sorry, before you start, just want to remind the audience, Brother Edier, if you guys recall, was it after Christmas?
It was
was it Christmas Eve?
I think it was. I think it was the Sunday after Christmas.
Yeah, so it was just let's say before the New Year.
Yeah.
Before the New Year 2018.
I come here when we don't have an evening service.
Exactly.
When I've got a free evening on Sunday, I come.
So yeah, Brother Ed was. I think we had a really good discussion.
It was good.
It was
good. Yeah.
Quite educational. Plus we spoke a lot of topics.
I really appreciate the opportunity to have interaction and dialogue, because I mean I don't know everything about Christianity, let about and hardly anything about Islam. So it's helpful for me to learn and to engage. And Jesus says, he is the truth, and therefore Christians should be seekers after truth.
Absolutely.
So I wanted to interact with you on the basis that.
No, definitely.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, Speaker's Corner. What he just said is exactly the purpose that we come here to learn from each other.
That's right.
And if we have a nice friendly discussion,
I'm all for that.
Dialogue.
I'm all for that. No heckling.
Yeah, we learn from each other.
Interaction. That's right.
Because that's the only way. That's the only way we can understand each other.
Yeah.
See what I mean?
Yeah, that's right.
And communication is the best way.
In the spirit of tolerance and respect.
Absolutely, absolutely. That is key. Yes, absolutely. So yeah, I mean, being Easter Sunday today.
Yeah, absolutely.
So perhaps I think the topic which you want to discuss is
forgiveness.
Is quite apt, I think, for today.
Yeah.
So yeah, please. I mean.
So.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Well, so I quoted to you that passage from the Quran, and I suppose my question from the booklet that you gave me, which is very helpful.
So do you want to repeat
I
the
can
passage?
reread it.
I think we missed that earlier, didn't we?
Okay. Yeah. So Jesus the Messiah. Why does
this is one of the booklets that we gave you last time.
One of the booklets which I faithfully read. I think give me a couple. And I was intrigued by what I have read the Quran, but I've forgotten this bit where the Quran says, "And those who, having done an evil deed or wronged their own selves, earnestly remember Allah and ask for forgiveness for their sins. And who can forgive sins except Allah?" And
which chapter and verse is that? Does
it says Quran
4106.
Okay,
Surah An-Nisa.
Okay, and I suppose the question that came to my mind is, what is the basis upon which Allah is able to forgive justly?
I mean, one of his main attributes is Al-Ghafur Ar-Rahim. So he's the one who forgives and he's merciful. Now, I think if you remember last time, I don't know if we discussed the difference between the term forgiveness and the term payment, because that is key. The term payment and the term forgiveness. Because that is key in understanding the ability and the nature of God to forgive. So what the Christian principle is, from what I understand, this is based on Hebrews chapter 9 verse 22, where it says there's no forgiveness without the shedding of blood. To me, that seems like a payment. So in order for forgiveness, it is dependent on the payment by blood, that offer of Jesus Christ.
That's right.
Which I consider to be human sacrifice. To me, that is something abhorrent.
For us Christians, human and divine sacrifice.
Well, it's who died?
Yeah. Well,
human or divine?
We'll go back to Jesus as God and man.
You have to. You can't. If you say God died, and that's the end of the story.
I did reflect upon what you said around Christmas, and I mean, indeed, you see, I know Muslims have problems with the doctrine of the Trinity, but unless Jesus is divine, the cross doesn't make sense, you see, because it's God who dies, it's God who takes God's punishment. So it's God. It would be no. I mean, if a friend of mine said, "I want to die on behalf of the sins of Ed," well, that would be no good, because the friend of mine is a sinner himself. He can't take the punishment that I deserve.
Forgive? Why does He require a human being to be sacrificed in order for you to be forgiven?
Well, because justice has to fall.
No, but when you say justice, do you remember earlier I asked you this question? If a judge forgives someone, being a first-time offender, okay, it's okay. I mean, we'll forgive you a parking ticket or something. To me, that still justice is served, because the other person got the message that if he does it again, he'll be in trouble.
Well, apart from justice has been waived. So justice hasn't been done, and in that case.
No, that's
So-
because I think you're thinking about payment. You see, and that's the reason I asked you to define. Let's define that in order for us to proceed further. So when you say payment by blood, to me
Yes.
that is not forgiveness. To me that is payment, because forgiveness is, for example, if you owed your friend £100,
Yeah.
yes, and your friend tells you that pay me in installments, that is still payment.
Yes.
If he tells you that that's fine, your brother can pay instead of you,
Yeah.
to me that's still payment
That's
by
right.
substitution.
As long as
See what I
yes,
mean?
that's as
But
long
if
as
he
somebody-
tells
that's
you
right.
that no, Ed, I forgive you, you don't have to worry about that £100, you are forgiven, to me, that is forgiveness, that is not payment.
Well, apart from, if I may say respectfully, that I think to a certain extent that misunderstands the concept of forgiveness. So let me illustrate.
Okay.
If I, in my exuberance, were to knock over this camera, I could turn around to this chap and say, I'm terribly sorry, I've smashed your camera, let me pay for it. And he might well say to me, no, that's okay, I forgive you.
Exactly.
But one of the two of us has to pay. Either I give him the £100, or he has to pay for the cost of the repair of the camera himself.
Yeah, but that's...
So somebody has to pay.
Yeah, no, you don't have to say somebody has to pay. When he says he's forgiven you, yes, so the transaction between you and him is cancelled then.
Yes, but someone
As
has
soon
to.
as he's,
But someone
I'm
has
coming to
to
that. I agree.
absorb.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody has to basically, yes, they have to absorb the damage.
Yeah, that's right.
If that's the word you're looking for.
That's
so
right.
if someone has to absorb the damage, yes, what is sin? Is sin an object, like the camera?
Jesus said all sins were against him ultimately,
Yes.
and that's
So
why
it's
he's
transgression against God.
against God.
Good.
That's right.
Now, if the transgression is against God, yes, and if God is going to take upon himself to forgive the sin,
Mm-hmm.
yes, to me, just like this person who told you that he's forgiven you for breaking his camera,
Yeah.
yes, that itself, for you, you're no longer required to pay anything now.
That's right.
You
But-
see what I mean?
yeah.
So let's understand that connection first. Now, the next connection is the objection that you had, like someone has to take up, has to basically pay for that damage.
Absorb, that within themselves, that's right.
Absorb that damage.
Yeah, that's right.
Now, remember that sin is not an object for it to be absorbed somewhere. Because the sin is against God Almighty,
Yeah.
then it's like someone, for example, if somebody hits you, yes, and you tell them I forgive you,
Mm-hmm.
yes, then it's something similar to that, because the damage is to you.
Yeah.
Yes, you have every right to see how you're going to rectify that.
Yeah. So I
Yes,
could.
you can either
I could say I could turn
yeah,
to the
you can
policeman and
either
say,
you
that's,
can charge him for assault,
that's
take him to the police,
actual bodily harm.
get him
or something.
punished.
Yeah.
To me, that is payment.
Yeah.
Yes, but if you tell him, okay, by my mercy, because I'm a merciful person, yes, I'm a kind person, I forgive you. But then he is not going to expect that slap or that punch or whatever
Yeah,
is done
yeah.
to you from anybody else. You see what I mean? Because forgiveness is such where it's not an object that you have to somehow replace it with something better or something equal.
No, but I would have to take the injustice, if you like, upon myself.
Okay, when you forgive that person, do you consider that injustice?
Well, if they've struck me unfairly, well, yes.
Even then, because
Yeah,
you
yeah,
have
yeah.
forgiven them,
Yes,
would you
well,
consider that as unfair?
Yes, well, I would. Yeah. So if someone struck me unjustly or unfairly,
Yeah.
and I independently and unilaterally decide to forgive them, then yes, I've taken that injustice, if you like, upon myself. So
No, but do you really see that as injustice? When you are forgiving that person,
Yeah,
obviously
yeah.
he's hit you deliberately.
Yeah.
Yes, and that is not right.
Yeah.
That is not fair.
That's
That
right.
is unjust.
Yeah,
you can
yeah.
say that. However, because you have forgiven him, your action, do you consider that action of forgiveness as unjust? That is the question I'm asking.
Oh no, the action of no, because the punishment has been, if you like.
There's no punishment. You forgive
Well,
him.
I've taken
You've taken the damage.
Damage
Exactly.
upon myself.
Yes, but you, because of your action of forgiveness, that action of yours is out of mercy. and
true.
compassion.
True. That's
Yes?
true. That's true.
So this action of
That's
yours
true.
is out of mercy and
That's
compassion.
true. That is true.
And to
Yeah.
me, the problem has been resolved. As soon as you have forgiven him, he's not expecting any trouble from you or any payment from you. Sorry, you're not expecting any payment from him.
Yeah.
And he's not expecting any trouble from you.
No,
So
that's right,
That
because-
matter from your side and from his side has been resolved.
That's right, and it's
quite amicably.
It's been resolved amicably,
Yeah.
amicably because I have taken the injustice, if you like,